Hello YouTube! Welcome in everybody. We are hanging out with some Mother's Basement today, and we are going to look into the genius of Sonic's character design. I hate the fact that he's got both Vegeta and Mickey Mouse to equal Sonic. But is he wrong? Granted, I think this would make more of like Knuckles, but or Shadow maybe. Probably Shadow more so. I think if it was Goku instead, but I don't know, maybe the blue. Who knows? Anyway, let's see what he's talking about here. This could also just be a fun little clickbaity.
I started gaming in the PS1 days, not long after Sega decided to cannibalize itself out of the console market with two.
Sega to quit production of Dreamcast console, develop games for rivals. By Alex Pham, Times staff writer. Sega Enterprises will stop manufacturing its money-losing Dreamcast video game console in March to focus on the company's more lucrative software business, said Peter Moore, president of Sega America. Sega instead will create games for a variety of consoles and devices rather than make games only for the Dreamcast. Smart! Moore confirmed that Sega has agreements to make video games for Nintendo's upcoming Game Boy Advance device and for Sony's new PlayStation 2 console. Sega is also in talks with Microsoft Corp to make games for the Xbox game consoles, set to debut in the fall, Moore said. Moore's announcement confirmed widespread rumors in recent weeks that Sega would quit the console market. Probably for the best. The console market got... Like, we only have, what? 3, 4 consoles with the PlayStation, the Xbox, the Nintendo, and then technically your computer / Steam. Those are our only 4, but even that is like overly saturated. And it was extra saturated with the PlayStation coming out with its PSP, with Nintendo coming out with the Game Boy and its handheld devices. So you would have to buy so many different devices just to play single games. So it's nice to have only a few devices that you need to buy to play these games, but I'm also glad that most games are just straight up coming out on PC and the console wars are pretty much dead. But then again, I'm just a PC gamer at this point.
Market with 2 competing 32-bit hardware SKUs, and I was not blessed with older gamer siblings or techie parents, so outside of a Genesis setup at the dentist's office...
Yay, the Genesis! One of these days I'm going to have to do another playthrough of Shining Force.
I wasn't really exposed to Sonic the Hedgehog, gaming icon, until he went third-party. I knew about him, of course. It was literally impossible not to as a millennial child with a television. But to me, Sonic was just a character in cartoons, coloring books, and surprisingly great Archie comics until Sonic Adventure 2 Battle came along. I loved that game and Adventure DX not long after it, but I probably don't have to tell you how those have aged or what quality of games would follow them. And somewhere between the Hedgehog-human makeout sesh and unleashing of the werehog...
The werehog. This thing still confuses the crap out of me. Why did they decide to go this route with the werehog idea? I mean, it's an interesting idea, and once again, I think they were just trying to play with different types of level design concepts, but that's the only thing I could think of.
I moved on from Sonic for my own sanity. That took 7 years, though. Almost half my life at that point in my life spent liking, or very badly wanting to like, a video game franchise without a single good new video game in it, at least not on home consoles. And
oh man, that's gonna cause some ruckus in your comment section. Probably gonna cause some ruckus in my comment section. The only Sonic game I ever actually played, and I'll be perfectly honest with this one, the only one I've ever actually played was the Legend of the 5 Rings, or whatever it was. The Genie one. And I only played, like, bits and like, I only played, I think, up to the Ifrit fight. And then I just kind of got distracted by another game. Probably a Pokemon game at that point. Who knows? But, yeah, that's pretty much the same with me. I didn't dive into too much of the Sonic world, and that's why I'm trying to like learn more about the Sonic universe right now.
And that speaks to the raw power that Sonic possesses as an idea, as an aesthetic. I'm hardly the only one who's felt it. Sonic's huge.
Nope. I'm someone who felt it. Like, I've always been like outside looking in, being like, what even is this thing? Like, Sonic is one of those phenomena that are, as an outsider, there's nothing to it. Like, it's weird, it's colorful, it looks kiddie, but then you see there are hundreds of thousands of people who are just dedicated. Like, they literally dedicate so much time, energy, and life to Sonic. And its characters, making their own characters, getting involved in it, doing some weird stuff with those characters. And I don't know, it's just interesting to see it. And it's also not just because of the weird stuff, it's because it's actually got a viable community behind it. It's one of the least toxic, all communities are toxic, but it's one of the least toxic communities I've actually seen. Like, ever since I started looking into Sonic stuff, there have been so many people coming into my comment section and everything, and being so supportive and so welcoming. It's been very nice.
Huge hardcore fan following combines the chuny enthusiasm and overt horniness of shonen anime stans,
which I'm very happy for. Look, I'm okay with a little bit of fan service. I have no problem. I can goon and all that, but sometimes, can we just have a few moments where not everything has to be gooning for no reason? Like the Master Roshi thing, it's funny as a treat once in a while, but not an entire series about it.
With the deep-rooted nostalgic obsession and repressed horniness of Disney people. It's horrifying, but also remarkable. I can't think of any other series this uneven and mismanaged that's managed to inspire such long-term devotion or such a massive volume of fan art, fan fiction, fan games, original characters, and it's not just the marketing blitz behind the series that got us here. If it were, we'd be seeing existentially nightmarish Super Eye Patch Wolf videos about the Animorphs fandom. No.
Yeah.
On a truly primal level, something about Sonic resonates with people. Kids, especially. And the other night, while listening to my good friend Dan Floyd's efforts to validate the half year of his life that was spent staring at dumb-running Sonics.
Oh, Dan Floyd. I know Dan Floyd. I know of Dan Floyd anyway. But yeah, it's Sonic manages to do that. The one thing that so many other franchises seem to fail at, and that is be able to hold on to the new generation of audience while still appeasing their original audiences. They somehow manage to do that, and even Pokemon is struggling to do that these days. They're appealing decently to a new audience, but they're not holding on to the original audience as well. And sometimes it's flopping the other way, where my nephews and nieces, they all know what Pokemon is. They enjoy it okay enough, but they don't care about it whatsoever, like I did when I was their age. And it's just, and now you talk to any of the people who used to be big into Pokemon, it's I like Pokemon. It's okay. Not a fan of the company, but I like Pokemon. It's okay.
I had an epiphany as to what that something is, and more importantly, how the inspired genius of Sonic's character design has directly resulted in the fandom we know and fear today. But before we get into that, if you're old enough to be nostalgia clicking on Sonic the Hedgehog video essays, you're probably old enough to start thinking about the future of your hairline. Today's sponsor, Keeps, can help with that. Hair loss, like Sonic the Hedgehog pornography, is an unavoidable part of life for a lot of folks. 2 out of 3 people designated male at birth will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35, which, unless you're a full-time Dr. Eggman cosplayer, is not ideal. There's no getting that back when it's gone, but with modern science, you can stop the...
There's been lots of ways for people to be able to get their hair back in some way, shape, or form, but at the same time, guys, own it. Own it. trust me, being bald, there is a lot of people who can actually rock being bald, even if they really don't want to. Like, I mean, it's easy for me to say. Like, behind this blue avatar, I've got a very thick head of hair. I'm pretty lucky in that regard. However, there's a lot of people who can really just rock the bald haircut, and the upkeep on that is so much nicer than actually having a thick amount of hair. Trust me, it's so much easier being bald, I think, sometimes. Granted, the turtle wax is probably a little bit of a spendy venture. Gotta make it shiny.
Robotnikization of your scalp before it even begins. And thanks to Keeps revolutionizing the way hair loss is treated, you don't have to go broke to avoid going bald.
Oh, that's
when you
nice.
sign up for their service, they'll connect you with a doctor to build a prevention plan around your needs and set you up with the prescriptions you need to implement it. Keeps will then reliably and discreetly ship generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products straight to your door every 3 months, saving you money and time in the pharmacy line. And time
nice.
is of the essence here. Prevention is key when it comes to hair loss, and it can take 4 to 6 months.
Things that do not cause hair loss: shampooing, sunshine, hats, goonin, natural high testosterone, and just your mom. Your dad is probably to blame too. Equality now.
For these treatments to show results, so the sooner you start using Keeps, the more hair you'll save. And I've got a deal to help you get started. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/basement or click the link in the doobly-doo for 50% off your first order today. That's keeps.com/basement. Now back to the science you nostalgia clicked for. To properly understand the genius of Sonic's character design, one must first have a firm grasp on the aesthetic evolution
Firmly grasp it. Oh, I like that anime. That was a fun anime.
of anime and its roots in the golden age of American animation, specifically what Walt Disney was doing with both comedic short films and feature-length narratives like Snow White. Luckily, the last one's pretty self-explanatory. Even today, it's not hard to see how the face shapes of proto-Disney princesses shaped the faces of early human anime characters, or how, in recent years, there's been something of a feedback loop between the Disney princess marketing line and anime's moe movement. As
I suppose so.
for how the simpler, cartoonier end of the Disney house style fits into the bigger picture of anime, I could spend thousands of words detailing.
It's exaggeration. It's exaggeration in a direction to make things look squishy, round, and familiar. Whereas if you make things more angular, it makes them a little more handsome, I suppose. So when you're wanting to make things cute, i.e. me, you go for more of a round shape. Once again, rules are meant to be broken. You can make a character that's a triangle and they'd probably be able to be cute. But as a general rule, round, soft designs, which is what, the rubber hose kind of Western animation style was really good at. It was really good at making, cute, likable children's cartoons.
The evolution of Osamu Tezuka's art and that of the
Perfect example. Like Astro is all round. He does have a couple points on him, but he's mostly round. Whereas the fellow Ray at the end there, he's all like pointy and jagged, so he's more scary. But his eyes are soft and round, so they're more approachable. There's a lot of shape language when you're making characters.
The artists inspired by him, with a lengthy aside about Lilo and Stitch's surprising and enduring success in Japan, and a bunch of other stuff.
I mean, Lilo and Stitch is just a successful animation, just period. We don't talk about live actions, obviously, but like, it's just it's a successful franchise. They did good with that.
Or I could show you this one picture of Mickey Mouse, Astro Boy, and Goku that...
Yeah, oh my god. All three of them, they're the same person. Oh my god, I never actually really even noticed that. Holy crap.
sums it all up. perfectly.
Holy
Goku
crap!
is modern anime's Mickey Mouse, and as was
It's
the
true.
case with Mickey Mouse, Goku's creator, and later the massive corporation that owns and endlessly exploits his IP, would go on to surround that illustrated icon with dozens upon dozens of complementary character designs. While many of those characters are now icons in their own right, fashion icons even, the most iconic and enduring of all is, of course, Vegeta,
Hell yeah, buddy. Short King!
who set the standard for the shonen rival as a cooler, snarkier, edgily darkier counterpart to the excitable doofus hero with even spikier, more aerodynamic hair.
Oh yeah. Vegeta is easily one of the best looking characters in Dragon Ball. Him and Piccolo. But Vegeta is such a cool, like, secondary main character. I loved him. I love him. He's a good lad. Granted, he's not exactly a good lad either. He's terrible, but he's cool.
Template that has proven with time to be just as viable as a hero by itself if you sand down the edges a bit, and has thus been iterated
You're going to need one hell of a belt grinder to sand down those edges on that boy.
upon by shonen artists inspired by Toriyama almost as much as Goku himself. And the true genius of Sonic the Hedgehog is that he represents essentially a re-Mickey Mouseification of the Vegeta template. A slicker, faster, cooler, bluer, more 90s
Blue is best color.
optimized iteration, every bit as iconic, powerful, and potentially merchandisable as the genuine article. So why would one even want to make Vegeta a Mickey Mouse? Loads of reasons. For what Sega was attempting, the impromptu Central Park survey group that helped Naoto Oshimoto settle on this Mr. Needle Mouse design.
You know, yeah, if you're looking at just the first two parts there, you could easily switch that over to drawing Mickey Mouse instead. Not wrong. I think there's more to it than just trying to simply copy Mickey Mouse's design. But we also still have the other half of the video here, so let's keep watching.
Could not have picked a more perfect candidate. Mario is video games Mickey Mouse, and as villains go, he's mostly just got a bunch of big, fat, uncool Pete the Cats. So the field was wide open for a cooler, more iconic Mario rival to enter the picture, and a company looking to compete with the biggest name in gaming couldn't ask for a better anti-Mario.
The other nice thing about Sonic games is, in comparison to Mario games, is that Mario games, there's a lot of like adrenaline that goes through them. Like there's a lot of dopamine. There's a lot of like chemical reactions that happen in your brain when you play Mario games. Sure. However, the way that Sonic is designed, like the actual gameplay for Sonic is designed, you can't take it slow. You have to keep going. Oh, pardon me. You have to keep going faster. It's part of the slogan. Gotta go fast. So, like, it's more addicting. You want to play it, and you want to go fast. You want to watch the character go flying halfway across the screen, go bouncing off these enemies, hit something, explode, and then just lean back in and go back into that running animation. You want to do that because it's comfortable. It makes the brain go burr. So the gameplay definitely works well with that. Whereas in Mario, you can take it relatively slow for the entire game and slowly get yourself more and more comfortable until finally you're just like, okay, let's pick up the speed a little bit more. Let's run into this and let's try to get faster and faster and faster. Whereas Sonic, you're fast right out the gate.
Mario mascot than Vegeta Mickey Mouse. Sonic had a face you could slap on anything you wanted to sell, a face you remembered after seeing it just once, and most importantly, a face that possessed those qualities while standing apart from every other monolithic pop cultural entity that already possessed them, allowing his image to endure in popular culture basically no matter how badly Sega screwed his games and supplementary media up, which was, at many points, about as badly as they conceivably could have. The design also, of course, lends itself handily to both slick sprite animations and syndicated Saturday morning cartooning. So well that Sonic had 2 cartoons.
Yeah. The Saturday morning, he had 3 cartoon runs. 4. Well, actually, when I was a kid, I'm pretty sure he went through 3 different cartoon series, right? We have the original Sonic Adventures, we have Sonic Underground, and then we had Sonic X. That all happened within, like, what? A short time in the late 80s to early 90s?
Tunes on air simultaneously in 1993, one with an anarchic Looney Tunes vibe, the other, which would form the basis for those great Archie comics I mentioned earlier, following in the footsteps of the era's action cartoons, with a dark story of woodland freedom fighters opposing industrial oppression, not entirely complemented by a chunky art style a lot closer to DuckTales than, say, Gargoyles. Sonic has never tried to hide his anime roots. I mean, those blue roots turned glowing gold for the first time in Sonic 2, just 1 year after the Super Saiyan concept was first introduced in DBZ. However, throughout his 16 and 32-bit Supersonic run, his cartoon influences simply shone a lot brighter. Sonic was aiming to capture the American market, after all, and American kids simply didn't like anime. Until
That's not true. It's just we didn't have a lot of access to it. And also, a lot of the anime that we were getting access to earlier felt a little bit scary for a lot of the kids who were just coming out of watching these types of shows. Like, you turn off a Sonic show, which is cutesy, fun, and energetic and all that, and then you turn on an Inuyasha fight scene, and there is, like, blood and guts and things getting bisected. That's a little scary for some kids. Like, that turned me off for a long time, and then I actually sat down and watched a, believe it or not, my first real experience watching anime was actually during a New Year's Eve sit down. I was actually hanging out with my grandfather, and he wanted to put on some cartoons, so he put that on. He put on an Inuyasha marathon for me. And I sat down, and I watched Inuyasha with my, like, 80-year-old grandfather. That was a great year. That was a great entrance to the year. And then that was also like, that's all she wrote for me. I was an anime nerd after that.
Still, all of a sudden in the mid to late 90s, they did a whole lot. Sonic the Hedgehog, fastest trend chaser alive, was not far behind, launching a striking new animate-up art style inside a striking new 3D platformer alongside a striking new game console with Sonic Adventure for the Sega Dreamcast on December 23rd, 1998. And with that slight shift in design priorities, plus a slate of small but smart style tweaks in 2001's Sonic Adventure 2,
shoes.
the franchise's fan-fueled undeath was eternally guaranteed. You see, Mickey Mouse's, originally Oswald the Lucky Rabbit's, are precision-engineered to be as visually appealing and versatile in motion as possible, while still being incredibly easy to draw. Noodly limbs with big, chunky hands and feet to accentuate movement, stuck on a cute little bean body with bright shorts to help define the midsection through contrast, and topped with a big, pale, massive-eyed mono face that helps to define the head in the same way.
It's simple. Whether it's just a full-on silhouette, whether it's fully colored, whether it's a different art style, doesn't matter. You see this art, you see the silhouette for Mickey Mouse, you see the shape, and you instantly say, that's Mickey. Doesn't matter what generation you're from. As long as you have gotten to a generation where you have started enjoying cartoons or something like that, congratulations, you know who Mickey is probably.
While allowing for a wide range of expression. And of course, the head behind that face is itself defined by a few simple, iconic shapes. The addition of color and innovation of cartoon glove hands has complicated these design principles over the years.
Barely, though. Barely. Like, they improved the art style, but they kept the overall shape and everything. It's still Mickey. It's always still going to be Mickey, unless they decide, okay, let's give him like actual realistic proportions. Let's have the ears actually sit on the head properly. I think that would kill kill his design altogether.
But only slightly. The fundamentals remain the same. If you can draw 3 overlapping black circles of roughly the right size and spacing, you too can make a recognizable Mickey Mouse. Slap 3 quarter circles on the side of a bigger circle and you got a Sonic the Hedgehog. And the body underneath isn't that much harder to replicate. All of this is exactly what you want in a character who needs to be drawn and redrawn by a factory floor full of artists about 700 times per minute he's on screen. It also conveniently
That's actually a very good point. This is something that I've been kind of talking a lot about whenever I do my like art streams. By the way, if you join the stream and all that, I do art every now and then, quite often actually, most of the week. But something that I talk about a lot during my art streams, talk about whenever I'm doing like character design, simplicity is actually way more important than over complexity. Overcomplexity is great because it's eye-catching, it makes your character stand out in the room. VTubers are constantly hunting that complexity and like crazy silhouette. However, if you keep pushing that silhouette further and further and further, putting random doodads and belts and medals and things all over the character, if you keep doing that, the character is no longer going to be iconic for who they are. Because at the end of the day, your character isn't a costume. Your character is, you know, the character, the person. It's like when you make a D&D character, right? You want to make a story character, right? You're not making stats for a character. You're making a character and then you're slapping stats onto it. It's the difference between making a build and making a character. There it is. That's pretty much what I'm trying to talk about. So if you go for more of like an iconic look, an iconic shape, then it'll allow you to actually, you know, grab people's attention properly. If your character can grab that attention just from being a simple looking person, then it's going to do better no matter what you put them in. So simple designs. Simplicity is always key.
Means the character is incredibly easy for even the most untalented aspiring artist or just fan to reproduce and iterate upon in the margins of their notebooks, their own sketchpad, whatever paper's handy, really. If you can get fans making doodles and art of your characters, they will develop a much deeper attachment to them than they would from simply buying merch or consuming content. Sanrio, the Pokemon Company, and of course Disney itself have all leveraged this principle to unfathomable profit over the years. Sonic, too, got a lot of mileage out of it. He graced the face of a lot of Trapper Keepers. But despite being the cool cartoon mascot, classic Sonic was still fundamentally cute, goofy, and cartoony, not necessarily emulatable in his coolness. You want to collect and look at Pikachu's, Hello Kitties, and Mickey Mouses, not be them. Anime, conversely, is very good at creating cool scenarios that we want to project ourselves into. Power systems that encourage us to imagine.
And this is why so many main characters nowadays are, if you were to take like 10 main characters from mildly popular anime that are coming up right today, I can almost guarantee you most of them are going to be featureless with straight black hair that is kind of in a little bit of a bowl cut. Maybe a little shaggy. And they're just going to have very generic anime eyes. They're going to have very generic anime guy proportions. And the reason being is that they are a self-insert character. They are supposed to look unassuming and bland so that you can easily latch on and replace their face with a character of your own or even yourself. That's the point of that character. They're moldable.
Imagine our own unique abilities, physical actions that are fun to mime out. If you've ever done a Naruto run or
Shut up.
practiced your Kamehameha, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That said, the coolness of a Vegeta is a lot harder to faithfully reproduce on paper than the cuteness of a Mickey Mouse. I myself am a writer today primarily because I could never get my stupid spindly fingers and shaky inflexible wrist to accurately reproduce Yugimoto's hairstyle.
Okay, well, there's your problem. You were trying to reproduce Yugimoto's hairstyle. You don't do that. Nobody does. Not even the artist does that. But actually, it's the same thing for me. Like, I can't get my thoughts onto paper. Like, so I, instead of going writing, I went art. I was the same way for me.
Spikes. Sonic's redesigned art style, with its longer noodles, shinier eyes, and spikier spikes, despite being, as Dan explained in exhausting detail, kinda crap for 3D animation, manages to capture the coolness of anime without sacrificing the artistic accessibility of Sonic's Mickey Mouse origins. So long as you're decently confident with drawing basic...
What is going on with the freaking cars in there? He hit one car and everything just started exploding.
Shapes, you can get like 90% of the way to an authentic feeling Sonic Adventure 2 promo illustration with a little bit of effort, maybe struggling a bit with the shading and shoes. And even if you just...
Yeah, shoes are always the biggest problem for me in any character design. I don't know why I suck with shoes. Mainly because maybe it's because I just don't care about shoes. I hate shoes. But then again, sandals are much easier.
Trace, it's not hard to grasp the essentials and make alterations to a character that feel stylistically cohesive, which was game-changing.
My name is Sonic. I have bangs.
For you see, by reverse engineering Vegeta back into a Mickey Mouse, Naoto Oshima inadvertently cracked the code for converting any anime archetype into a marketable-looking cartoon mascot, be they a Rock Lee Mickey Mouse, a Sakura Mickey Mouse, or a Naruto Mickey Mouse. Seriously, Orange Fox, multiple tails, Violent Pink Girl only likes his cooler, bluer, spikier friend. I'm on to you, Kishimoto. You
But the difference is Tails doesn't like Amy that way. As far as I know. Right?
And your original characters. But we needn't limit ourselves to popular shonen designs. These conversion metrics work just as well with a...
Oh, but there's also the issue with Tails is, like, actually intelligent. He might have trouble with, like, basic math once in a while, but he's actually intelligent. Versus Naruto, who's just, like... good times and vibes, dude.
Randia Fina Mickey Mouse, or Darkstalkers Morrigan Mickey Mouse. Hell, Shadow the Hedgehog is a double Vegeta Mickey Mouse. A concept a little too excessive to work in actual anime, but just the right...
God. Stupid Dragon Ball GT Vegeta thing. Yeah, apparently this was Vegeta, if I remember correctly. Oh, God.
Level of too much to be taken way too seriously in this cartoony but cool world. Saying sayonara to him will fill you with sadness. Once you have a setting that can accept something like Shadow the Hedgehog, especially...
Don't think I didn't notice the lack of an H there. But it's true, he is the Shadow the Hedgehog. Oh my god.
One with several aesthetically contradicting lines of continuity born from different comic artists and animation studios putting their own spin dash on the material, the sky is basically the limit for fans to bring their own ideas or Sonicified versions of their favorite anime and video games ideas into that world. By the time Sonic Riders arrived with the Babylon Rogues, it was already impossible to distinguish new official characters from high-end fan creations. Eventually, the fans would get better at this than Sonic Team themselves. By taking Sonic's style into the simple and clean end of the Kingdom Hearts zone of the anime
God damn it, simple and clean.
cartoon spectrum, Sega took the ingenious design means they'd already created and gave fans a powerful visual motive to generate an endless parade of original characters do not steal.
Oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Okay, let's read some of this Edge. Name. Dark Edge Blood Sword. Weapon, Soul Katana. Its flames grow the more souls it claims. Fave band is Slipknot because of course. Fave movie, The Dark Knight. Oh, and of course it's Fave movie and Fave band. The Dark Knight. Oh, come on. You could have chosen anything like Clockwork Orange or along those lines. Bio. Dark Edge Bloodsword. Yes, you do need to say the entire name. Dark Edge Bloodsword, the Hedgehog hates Sonic and his friends and almost kills all of them, using their power of friendship. Sonic convinces Dark Edge Bloodsword to turn his life around and fight the forces of evil with his killer katana and his cleats of pain. Oh my god, I just noticed he's wearing cleats. But he has no soul and cannot love, even though he desperately wants to. He is an orphan and vows to take revenge. Wait, what? Take revenge on what? On the killers for his parents or something like that? So he goes around murdering? Is that how we're working? Friends. Shaggy to Dope. Shrek and PewDiePie. Enemies. Justin Bieber. Quote, my heart is a black, tormented hole of emptiness. How are you? That was the edgiest. Oh, God, I feel like I got a paper cut. Oh, God.
Embodying their own personalities and their otherwise difficult to draw anime action ideals. Though, of course, having tapped deeper into the look and feel of anime, or to use the scientific terminology, fuckable cartoons.
Calm down. It gives us honest edgelords a bad name.
Sonic Team also opened the floodgates to.
I am not going to go back and pause on any of those because I'm pretty sure I saw an MPreg.
By now,
I'm
you
scared.
should fully understand the singular significance of Sony the Hedgehog's character design innovations, but what can we do with that wisdom? A fair bit. For example, it aids us in understanding why, despite Sonic Boom being the funniest, best written, best world designed, and best Amy and Knuckles containing iteration of the series to date, a large portion.
That's legitimately what I've heard. Like, Sonic Boom's apparently really good. Still haven't watched it. I've been meaning to. I just keep forgetting.
Of Sonic's fan base rejected it out of hand. Sonic Boom moves these characters out of the Kingdom Hearts.
So they made Tails more Sheldon-like, where he's not just intelligent now he's OCD.
Zone and into the One Piece zone, typically reached by starting with the basic filmic components of anime and cartooning them up, as opposed to trying to make Mickey Mouse's anime cool and designing Disney anime hybrid humans to fit alongside them. This is a...
No, Kingdom Hearts used both Disney and Final Fantasy as a way to just kind of like catapult themselves into the zeitgeist, and it ended up working. But then instead of like dropping the Disney portion, because the Disney portion was such a huge chunk of it, they dropped the Final Fantasy portion. There is an episode where Robotnik is a bro to Tails. That's amazing. But like, and that's the other nice thing about this series. It almost feels like Robotnik versus Sonic is less of a like an actual like antagonistic situation and more of just like a part-time job for the two of them. Like they fight on a part-time job. Wait, I think that was actually part of a plot line, wasn't it? It's like, oh, okay, we're done for the day, guys. Let's go back to our business. We're off. I think I remember seeing a clip about that.
very subtle distinction. People have died over it. While Sonic Boom's characters move a lot more naturally in 3D, they're also a lot harder to visually reproduce. You gotta illustrate a lot of different body types. Perspective and proportions matter more in this style. The layering of Sonic's bandages is very specific. If you're making an OC, you can't just take the one body and head type, change the spikes, colors, and fur patterns, and call it a day. You actually have to make the character fit into this outbacky jungle punk world, which even Shadow feels a bit out of place in. This simply is
A little bit, but then again, Shadow doesn't have to conform with anyone. Tails has a crush on a girl and everyone gives him terrible advice, and Robotnik is just like, be yourself. Robotnik then attacks and Tails defeats him, impressing the girl. That's awesome. I like that. Dude, just be yourself, man. Yeah, I like those little interactions and all that. Just because you guys are enemies doesn't mean you can't, work together and give each other half-decent advice sometimes. Be a bro, man.
isn't the anime animal playground that 2000's Mobius was. Understanding this can help Sonic Team and others working with the brand steer the series' direction more confidently moving forward, so we never again see another human teeth and legs Sonic. And on a broader level, having a firm grasp on Sonic's fundamental
firmly grasp it.
Tosity and Mickey Mousiness can help the animators and artists working with him get the most out of his design. For instance, if they had his hair spikes and mono eye cheat to face the camera the way his side mouth already does, and Mickey's ears do in the epic Mickey games, that might help to bring 3D Sonic up to the same level of visual polish as sprite-based Sonic.
That is horrifying that the ears actually do rotate around Mickey's head in that. Oh, that is actually terrifying.
The theoretical ideal here is a Sonic side-scroller, maybe with some behind-the-back bits, that looks like a 3D Arc System Works game. Tell me you wouldn't play the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Most importantly,
no, you're right.
With this breakthrough in hand, if we can also crack the design language of Undertale or Homestuck, we can build a more complete theory of uncontrollably horny fandom evolution, and using that knowledge, I'm sure we'll think of something eventually.
We'll think of something. So the trick is actually like universe and like full-on game design. What you're trying to do is make a universe that has like a specific ruling for each of their characters, like how the character design is laid out, and it's so easy to grasp that anyone can do it. Homestuck, gray skin, emo-looking characters with, you know, very circular head design, square body, long, straight down hair, and the yellow horns. Also fangs. I mean, like, I made it sound probably way more complicated than it actually is. You can look at a Homestuck character and easily see that, right? Like,
through in hand, if we can also crack the design language of Undertale or Homestuck.
Area, look at them. They all look like the exact same character, but they're slightly different between each other, right? I'm not wrong. They have the same body shape and head. They all have the yellow horns, except for some of them. Well, granted, I think it's just like that bottom row and the one in the middle. Kirby OCs are easy if you base it on Kirby or Meta Knight. Yeah, exactly. So, like, it's pretty much just take the character, or, like, you need to make the world fit the character design as well, and make it something that's like, oh, I can make my own original character in this art style, and it could just fit. Done. I'm in. But anyway, that's pretty much, yeah, I kind of agree on this. Like, Sonic is a very simple character design while making a very iconic character. I don't fully understand where he was really coming from with the Vegeta bit still. It felt like a little bit of a stretch, or he was like kind of shoehorning that in, but I do agree with a lot of everything else he was saying. Anyway, but yeah, character design can be easy, but it's also complicated. Just have fun with it. Just have fun, make something that you like. That's the first step. Anyway, What? Hey, did you enjoy that? Was it funny? Well, come and check it out live over on twitch.tv/freeform_art. Make sure you put the _art. We have lots of fun there. We enjoy ourselves, and we want to see you over there. So come on and hang out. See you in a bit.